Hey everybody, Jason here. Before we get started, I have one favor to ask. If you like this video, Top 200 Solo Games Commentary, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I am trying to spread the word about this channel, playthroughs, interviews, all sorts of chum for the solo gamer. So I would really appreciate if you could just go ahead. There it is. Hit that subscribe button. All right, on to the show. Yo, my people, what's up? Welcome back to Shelf Stories and the One Stop Coop Shop podcast and Beyond Solitaire and the One Player Guild. We are representing the whole breadth of solo gaming goodness. You know, this is Shelf Stories. I like to cover games from all over the place. I love everybody. I have my predilections, but I want to open my channel to every kind of gaming. Not today. Today is about solo. And we have gotten to the top 100 of the People's Choice. Top 200 been posted by our friend over here on the bottom left. Did you see us? This is Mr. Kevin Erskine. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the Peoples.
I'm Kevin.
There's Kevin right down there. And he has put together our list, and we have covered 201 last episode. This episode, and you can follow along. Check it out. We are now talking about the top of the bottom. I don't know how to refer to that. 100 to 50.
The bottom of the top?
Yeah, I was about to say the bottom of the top would be more accurate.
Something like that. So now we're going into the list proper. But actually, before that, let me go ahead and introduce my two friends. Aside from Kevin, first of all, again, graciously accepting me into the One Stop Co-op Shop podcast family. It is Michael Kelly from the One Stop Co-op Shop. Say hi to the peoples.
Yeah, hey everybody, and if you didn't hear last episode, that's right. Jason is officially a part of our podcast family. He has his own YouTube channel now, so he doesn't have to slum it on our channel and put content over there. But we'll be sharing podcasts sometimes and getting each other in good conversations.
Just like this one. All right, and last and certainly least, no, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't
only
get to
woman
be
on the
invited
show,
to
and you just gotta.
Nobody puts me on their podcast.
You have your own podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say, Liz, don't act like you need us.
Beyond Solitaire. It is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire podcast and YouTube channel. Welcome back, Liz.
Always good to be back.
All right, so we are going to cover 151, and now I'm going to start breaking down some statistics. So the full list is not revealed yet. We're only revealed kind of in the middle of the list, not exactly sure where this episode will land. We're trying to do it somewhat contemporaneous, so we're not going to spoil the top of the list. However, I did want to share some observations that people have requested in terms of kind of like list meta-analysis. And I think one of the things that people were interested in is how this list compares to others. You heard in the last episode that Kevin compares this list and kind of was inspired by the Dice Tower. And you mentioned before, Kevin, that none of the games on the Dice Tower list are represented on the solo gamers, right?
Not as many, right?
I have a solid number for you. The answer is 12.
Wow. Out of
100.
Wow.
Oh, man.
12 games.
And that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Man, I am Dice Tower, and so are you now, Jason, but this list has so much more meaning for me.
Right.
Because it's, it's a solo gamer list.
Can you give me an example, Jason, of because I didn't look at the Dice Tower list. What is something on there that would just kind of blow my mind?
King Domino, King of Tokyo.
What?
Stone
solo?
Age. No, this is the Dice Tower list.
This is their list.
This is the Dice Tower's People's Choice list. So it's Stone Age and Seasons. These are quality games, but they're not the games that we like as solo players. And
Probably
also
Dominion.
just kind of averaging out the weight. So an average weight of a Dice Tower game is about a 2.6. And for us, it's about a 3.1. So actually that's a significant difference over 100 games that you're kind of averaging out. 2.6 is actually a little bit heavier than I would have thought, but you have the occasional game War of the Ring Or I like this big honking game that's not really heavy, but like it's rated as heavy on BGG. So like it'll give War of the Ring like a 4.2. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yes, it's exactly as difficult as Pendragon. Completely.
Exactly. But I think the BGG weighting is like people take length as the same as weight, which is a little bit weird, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, so like it's a much lighter fare on the Dice Tower, and there's only like a couple of solo games on there. Also, people have asked about the BGG Top 100. I'm not sure how much you guys use that resource, but it is the average weight of a BGG Top 100 list is actually 3.2, 3.3, because Euro. I'm sure you know all about that, Kev.
Yeah.
Looking at the BGG Top 100 going, nope. Brass Lancashire, nope. Zolkeen, nope.
Yeah.
Those type of games are going to be on the BGG list. Although, so I did this last year at the behest of Corey Mayo. Hey, Corey, what's up, man? He's one of my good friends at this point. I think Corey has interacted with both of y'all, right? I mean, you guys know Corey, right?
Yep.
No, he hasn't made it quite over to all of the solo rounds. But yeah, Corey's been an active one-player Go poster. He requested it last year, and I noticed that 40 of the top 100 on BGG play solo. This year it's 50.
We're taking over.
We had some thoughts about, and the popularity of solo groups are going on, and the we talked about what was it about, like more voters on for this year, and I think it's for one reason, and I just want to kind of check in before we get to the list. I think the experience of gaming COVID has had a lot to do with the amping up solo, more games in the BGG Top 100 are play solo, and more voters and bigger groups and all that kind of thing. So I wanted to kind of get a sense before we get into the list of how you guys are experiencing your solo gaming this year. Start with you, Kev.
I hate to say it, but I've probably played more computer games this year, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, one thing I do want to say about the solo games, when I'm making the list, I got so many people, when they sent their list in, they were like, oh, I never played solo before, and I found your list, and I started going through it, and I bought a bunch of games, and it's like, I never realized how much fun this was. And I've heard that comment from so many people, even people who aren't new to board games, but they'd always played, and they always talked about, oh, I'd never played solo because I got a group, and well, now they don't have a group, and they're like, well, I'll try this. And they're like, wow, this is good. I mean, some of these games are just better solo because you can take your time, you can think it through, you can plan, you can really experience the game without someone's getting bored and looking at their phone and falling asleep. And, but for me, the other problem I had is my daughter, they were expanding their house. So my daughter and two little girls were living with us, and they took over all my gaming space with clothes, dolls, toys, and two very large dogs. So I had no gaming table from December until Labor Day.
Oh, wow.
So that
Things
was
we do for
probably
family.
that's the biggest reason. Yeah, but those two little girls, let me tell you, it was worth every second.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I think people had kind of a bifurcated experience. Like there's some people who discovered solo, right? They'd always played with their groups, and now they have no more group. And it's like, oh, wow, I can play this game solo. And maybe even people who get frustrated, like you were saying before, people in a multiplayer competitive game, they were, waiting to take their turn. AP in a cooperative game, they're tired of alpha player. They're tired of, having like an incomplete experience, because a lot of cooperative games are basically solo gagames. So then they play it solo, and it's like, whoa, this is amazing. This is great.
Well, especially a game like a Gloomhaven, where if you play with your group, you might get 4 campaign games in, and then they want to play something else, then you're done. Well, now if you play solo, any campaign game, you can play through the whole thing if you want.
Right.
Yeah. Or you can stop when you want to, and there's no obligation.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's mad at you for not continuing your D&D campaign after you got bored with it.
Right.
Hidden below the belt.
I know, right?
That applied to someone. We won't say who.
No, I'm always the one leading the game, so I'm the one who they're getting bored with.
What about you, Liz? How have you encountered solo gaming this year?
I mean, honestly, it hasn't felt too different. I was super productive on my channel and able to do a lot during quarantine, and I loved it. And I had so much more freedom and flexibility in my schedule, and it really let me play more of what I wanted to play. And then now school started again, and I feel like I just get hit by a train. So I haven't actually played games at all in the month of October. Like, I've just kind of started again. I said I was taking a break, and I meant it. And I've been reading. I've probably read like 12 books this month. Something ridiculous. So I've just been reading a lot and kind of like clearing my head. And I do miss gaming, and I'm looking forward to getting back into it now that I've been through, like, I had a really stressful month that was full of travel, which was good, doing a bunch of events, which were not fun. And so now it's like things are kind of steadying out again, hopefully. But man, I don't know. This year, work has just sucked this year.
Right. I think the people who have stressful jobs and who have kids at home, their solo gaming suffered. So, and I think those are people who maybe were already soloists, and then it's like, ooh, we have more time for solo. Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And then the people with the game groups who fell apart, maybe they're a little bit younger. I don't know. It's like, it's just quite like people have kind of like, I think it's safe to say they've mixed up their gaming experiences, and more people have kind of incorporated. So that might be a good general thing to say. Mike over at the One Stop Coop Shop, if you're subscribed to that YouTube channel, both Mike and Colin are machines. You guys are ridiculous in terms of the amount of solo game that you guys put out. It's crazy. Like, I have my own channel. I'm lucky if I can get one playthrough out.
Yeah. Do you sleep at night, Mike?
Maybe not as much as I should.
Yeah, I can't even imagine doing. I think you said a minute ago you did like 3 playthroughs in a night. That's just never gonna happen for me.
I tend to do my usual schedule now is 4 to 5 videos a week, and then Colin does his videos on top of that, and then I'll do work on our own designs 2 to 3 nights a week. It's a lot.
Nope.
Wow.
Anyway, so if you are new to the solo community, welcome. And I hope that our conversation over here gives you more entertainment and more games. And that's what it's all about. So we'll transition over to the games. So we're going to spend a little bit more time with these. I think the solo community has said these are games to focus on, right? So we're going to go 100 to 51. And like we do, we're going to go 25 at a time. So we're going to go from 100 to 75. So what 76. I will say, I'm not going to spoil the whole number, but I will say there were 18 new games and I actually thought there would be less because there really hasn't been a lot of releases, but and I think like last year was like 23 new games in the top 100. So not that much far off. And there was definitely people were kind of playing new games and stuff was shuffling out. 10 new games, or, not like pure debuts, but like new games that weren't there last year are on this list. In terms of pure debuts, there were 2 in this section of the list, Isle of Cats and Cthulhu Death May Die. Similar games. No, they're not.
Same thing, really.
Liz, I think you played Isle of Cats, right?
I've not. I haven't,
what?
And I just
You're
haven't gotten to
person.
it.
What?
I am a cat person, but I've been spending time with my actual cats.
Okay. Any Isle of Cats players over here?
I literally, my copy that I bought myself just arrived yesterday, and I played Pocket Landship and Pinball first because they're quicker. So I haven't broken it out yet. I've not played it yet.
It's a polyomino game, so sorry, Kevin. No, need not apply for a polyomino game.
I like those. I think I'm gonna like this.
That's not a Euro. That's different. You're not pushing cubes.
It's one of those games. I got frustrated with it because the scoring changes. It's one of those games where it's like you think you're going for one thing, and then you'll get cards that go into your system that kind of change up what you're doing and how you're doing it. My brain doesn't work that fast. Like, I'm a Sudoku player. I want like a puzzle, and I want a finished puzzle at the end of it. So I got frustrated, but people are loving on it. And it's definitely one of those things I think it's going to be kind of a perennial, at least in the lower half of the list. Cthulhu Death May Die, though, that may be one of those things where it debuts relatively high, but then falls. Because
it was all right.
Well, they released all the content, and I don't know if they're going to get more, and I don't know if the later content was tested very well. Simon is kind of like, tricky with that. That's the kind of game that you would back, right, Kevin? Cthulhu Death May Die?
Maybe. I don't have it. I didn't back it, but yeah, I keep
big
getting
honking minis, Kevin? What's wrong? I thought that was catnip for you.
I'm saving for retirement.
I mean, I'm surprised at the kind of, blah feeling. Death May Die, I think, is one of the best games of the last year. And now it's not as high for me, but certainly on our Discord, on Slack, on Facebook, it gets a lot of love from all quarters. So
But not
I expect
solo,
it to stay in the top. Well, yeah, maybe not for a solo as much, but
right.
it's a fun one to play two-handed. I would not be surprised if it stayed on top 100 for at least another year, but you are right. Colin's been playing season 2, and it definitely feels a little bit weaker than season 1. And CMON, they designed 8,000 characters, and maybe they aren't all as interesting when you get to that kind of output and quantity versus quality question. But it's a fantastic design. I did give my copy away because it wasn't fantastic enough for me
all the time. He's like, this is a great game that I gave away.
But I didn't keep it. Yeah.
I mean, I try to keep 50 games. So, even if it was number 80 for me, it would not stay in my collection. You know what I mean? But it's very good.
It is not. I played it. It's fine. It's fine. There's a million games like it. I really do.
No, I don't agree with that. I think the level of tactics and the level of variety combined with the streamlining and the sanity mechanic, I think it is unique. I do not think it is a cookie cutter tactical miniatures game.
Okay, so it's not Zombicide. Zombicide is a cookie cutter. So
right.
I'm being a little bit mean on there, but I just don't know that it has enough to kind of take it past it's not that well-crafted experience that I kind of want. I actually prefer Sword and Sorcery, honestly.
No way. Not even close for me.
Kevin is smiling. Kevin is, in case you missed it in the last episode, Kevin is not a poker player. He will tell you exactly what he is thinking with his face. Some more debuts. We were just talking before this recording started about PAX Premiere. That was a debut.
Oh man, I love that.
That's
may
a
have been
good
on the list
one
before, but it's definitely debuting here now. Heard some great things. Should I seek it out, guys?
Maybe not.
I don't know if you.
Because it is the bots. The bot that Ricky Royal designed is not hard to run, but it does have flow charts kind of and things, and you might not enjoy it. But for me, someone who doesn't mind that, it is fan-friggin-tastic.
Oh, it's so good.
Design.
I really love PAX Premiere. What a good, it's like a dissertation that's entertaining and a game. It's so good.
Well, explain to what do you do? What is, I don't even know, is it cards?
So
dice?
you're kind of jockeying for positional control over Afghanistan. And it's the British, the native Afghani, I guess you're the tribes, but then you're trying to kind of curry favor with the different people all fighting over Afghanistan. So it's a bit of area control. It's a bit of tableau builder. You get actions from the cards you play down, but they also control what goes out on the board. And the AI is just really smooth playing, really well done bot that competes really intelligently without needing too much overhead. Mm-hmm. I mean, Liz, you've played it more than I have. I'm sorry, I'm talking first.
And it plays differently each time. Very differently?
I think every game's different because it depends on what cards come up. It depends on what alliances shift. So it's a game where it's during the Great Game. It's the Durrani Empire in Afghanistan has just crashed, and all these colonial powers are kind of trying to get in, and also the native Afghans are trying to protect their land and their rights. And so you are playing sort of an Afghan leader, but you can change your alliances throughout the game. And basically the goal is to either be the best and most successful, powerful ally of the faction that's winning at score check, or you try to prevent any one group from getting enough power, but your personal power is big enough to score. So you have to try to hedge your bets as you play, because depending on how things shift, or if you can keep control of some of the territory, things can really go great for you, or they can go bad. Or you can make an alliance, but a person in your alliance beats you, and then it's just not even worth it. You just help somebody else do great. It's frustrating.
There's not a lot of solo area control. That is one thing that is not well represented. And if you're going to marry that with something that we are familiar with, which is tableau building, I can see that being very attractive to the soloist.
Very good. So this is an interesting chunk of the list for me, because some of these games I just can't stand, and other ones I think are great.
Okay.
I hate Pathfinder. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I hate it.
I love.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then La Granja, La Nap. I don't know.
La Siesta.
But there's
The solo is no
yes, yeah,
siesta,
no,
so
right.
you're like La Siesta all day.
Yeah, no siesta, no, all the siestas.
All the siestas.
But,
Believe it
you
or-
know, After the Virus is a gem. I think McKee is very delightful.
McKee was a debut this year because it got a printing this year.
I'm happy to see Freedom on here.
Yeah.
And I'm actually shocked that Gears of War, having been out of print for so long, is still in the top 100.
It's such a solid, like, unique
It
design
is.
still, you know?
Yeah. But, hey, check it out. I did finally get it.
Hey!
You'll understand.
And yeah, Colin did a video on the channel. I guess by the time this airs, it'll be like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, that one is a perennial, like, just kind of love child.
You're a Gears of War guy, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I got other games that I like that are similar that maybe I like better, but it's a solid game. If it was still in print and if they came out with an expansion, it would go way up this list fast.
Right.
Well, even if they change the theme, I just like the core mechanics. Like, I don't need I've played Gears, the video game series. I don't care at all that it's that theme in the game. If it was like random Space Marines, that'd be good to go.
It is a faller. Like, I remember we talked about this game as like in the teens or the 20s when we first debuted the list in, I think it was 2016. So this would be the 5th year we're doing this. So 2016, it was that high, but then it's kind of like floated down. But no, it did not do the opposite Rocket thing where it's not like cratering out. It's too good a design. And for like its time in order to kind of truly crater. I have not played it, but I've seen it and I'm definitely interested. Liz, I'm popping over. We're going to play some of these games.
All right.
I'll put on my mask. We'll do the social distance thing. We'll be all good. Paper Tales with the Beyond the Gates expansion and also Seven Wonders Duel. These are you haters.
No, Seven Wonders Duel is a great game. I don't know how you play it solo. I didn't know there was a solo variant.
The Scott bot. You use the Scott bot, and there's a bunch of other different solo variants for it. And there's also an app. So I think to Kevin's point, people are playing it on the app, which debuted earlier in the year. So I think people got familiar with that. Another expansion came out. Seven Wonders Duel is amazing. Paper Trail's another one that is we like soloists like our cards, you know, and if a game is a clever solo card game and it doesn't like really suck. We saw that with Finished. Finished I don't like, but like enough people like it because we like our card games. Our thinky, puzzly, we like cards. So
man, I could have lived. I could take the time I spent on Paper Tales back. Honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
I liked it fine. I just found it forgettable. Now,
Well,
one I did not find forgettable, Unbroken. Like, I know the company sucks, Golden Bell, but I think the design is good. The design is great. Right. I'm glad this one made it. This is the first year in the top 100. It looks like, right?
It made the top 100 2 years ago before it was even released. Because Artem Safarov, who was on the Every 90 Game Night show and he's been on a bunch of other podcasts, he did a big blitz. Print to play all over the place, and Tabletopia, and he's like, play this game, soloist, you know. And so he managed to like by himself with an unprinted game debut on the top 100, and then last year because of the Golden Bell stuff. Yeah. But now people are starting to get it, and they're starting to play it, and they're realizing, wow, this is about the solo game that I want as a card-based game. And so I think if people are rediscovering it, and because I've seen it in stores, like it is available in stores at this point.
The game is fabulous. I wish I had a different publisher.
I know.
Artem is such a good person. I adore him. Mm-hmm. He's a stand-up guy.
Don't say that to certain people, though.
I'll stand by Artem.
Because I think people kind of like group the whole, everybody in with that disaster, and you know, Artem being the front-facing thing of it gets a lot of flack, and
and it's
so
hard.
I don't want to wade into that too much.
It's hard to like. As someone who's been in contracts, you know, and it's not always fun to be in certain contracts, it's hard to like separate it and realize that there are maybe like legal things that you don't understand and have no like entry into that are controlling what is said or how somebody presents something. So yeah, it's easy to lump somebody in with like the company that kind of controls their fate in some way. And I don't think it's entirely fair, but I understand why people do it because what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
The last war games, in terms of the stuff that is traditional on this list, we're looking at Navajo Wars, which was a perennial favorite as well. And I know, Kevin, you've played this. You've talked about this a couple of times. Space Empires 4X.
Yeah. No, I like that game a lot.
I've not played it. I've never played it. I only hear about it once per year, which is.
I want to try it. I just don't love space. Like, I'm not inherently going to be into a space game.
Yeah, I'm not either, and that's why I'll tell you, I'm not a space person. I don't like little chits and things, and I love the game. It's one of those games when you set it up and you start playing it, it's like, okay, I do my turn, like, well, I'll take one more turn. Like, well, okay, one more, and I'll do the bookkeeping. And like, one more turn, because each turn is like a turn literally could be 2 minutes, and you're like, well, okay, one more, and I mean, it's 2 hours go by, and you've just done one more. It's just
Is
so
it
good.
getting support? Is it getting expanded? And
It's got 2 expansions.
Yeah,
two
yeah,
big
it's
expansions.
got quite, yeah.
It's a
I've-
typical for them, though. You know, they'll publish a game and then they'll come out with an expansion and republish the original, and then they hear it's good, but then they wait until they print. You know, they have demand for 500 more before they print more, and so it can go 2 years between print runs. But
I think it's funny to look at the different Space Empire games, because I think right around 110 from last week's episode, we didn't talk about it, but Space Core was in there, which is a nice one from GMT. Then we have Tiny Epic Galaxies, totally the same game as Space Empires 4X. And then it goes to Star Realms, and it's like, yeah, all of these are kind of similar themed in a way, but super different types of games.
When it comes to Tiny Epic, I mean, it's funny, like, we don't see a lot of Tiny Epic games that are land on the solo list, even though they make a big deal out of it. Like, you know, every game, there's been 9 so far, there's 9 solo modes. And, you know, we're going to continue to get solo modes for those games, and yet the solo community just doesn't like embrace it, except for that one. It's like, okay, not as good as Galaxies, not as good as Galaxies, not as good as Galaxies. So
yeah, if I'd have lumped all the rest of them in with Galaxies, it might have gone up 3 or 4 more positions. I mean, there really were very, very few votes for any of the others. The Quest,
most of them just aren't good solo. You know what I mean?
But
Some of them aren't good. Some of them aren't good in general.
You think the odds of them, a couple of them, because especially like there's a focus on the solo experience for all of those games. So
I mean, I thought Defenders was good solo, especially the second edition. I like that. I think Zombies was okay.
I haven't played any of them.
Didn't even crack the top 200. So any of
I've
those
never
games
played
for
them either.
Galaxies.
It's just never caught my eye.
What was that pause, Liz?
I think that was
I was just saying, like, I'm just, you know how there's things that you're burning to play them and you just really want them. I've just never had that feeling.
Right. A game I hate seeing it drop, because I love the game. It's one of the very first ones I bought was Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
I love that. And the app doesn't work anymore because I got a new iPad, so I've gone back. I'm glad I didn't get rid of my cardboard, so I go back to that. And it's just, I enjoy that so much.
They tried to reboot it with Last Bastion.
Yes.
Why?
Why?
They made, I think it was, they made like a couple of requested, like, you know, fan tweaks. So like, you know, in the original Ghost Stories, you had to like, you know, move and then do the thing. Where in Last Bastion, you can kind of flip those and everything. So like things that people complain about became in the new game, but then they changed nothing else. And what is the point of a grievance game? Like basically that's what I think of Last Bastion is a grievance game that is not going to sell me on a new product. I mean, I am just going to stick with Ghost Stories. And and the fact that this is falling, but that Last Bastion is like number 7,000 or whatever it is, says a lot. So, oh well.
Yeah, because you know when we go through the list, I always, as I'm entering them, I always start thinking of Cult of the New. Cult of the New is this getting votes because it's new? So I'm always interested when something old still beats out the new version of almost the same game, and people stick with the the older version, or they're like, no. I mean, why am I going to buy this game again? And maybe that's a warning to publishers. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like look at again, there's one we didn't talk about from last week, but Star Trek Frontiers. You know, it's like I already own this game. It's a simpler version, which is not going to appeal to some of the diehard fans of Mage Knight.
I don't need a simpler
who's
Mage
the
Knight
audience
in my life,
for it?
No.
What is that?
I do not need a simpler Mage Knight. Mage Knight,
Like,
the whole point of Mage Knight is the puzzle to payoff ratio.
Right. It's like they didn't know what made their game pop. Now, that being said, I actually like Frontiers better just because, not because of the simplicity. I just like the Star Trek theme so much better.
Right.
No,
well, that's what I was
space,
wondering. if the theme is probably why they did it, but yeah, I don't understand it.
I'm still traumatized from the time somebody asked me to go watch Gravity with them, and I just went and I didn't know what it was, and I just can't.
You didn't like Gravity, Liz?
It was like one giant anxiety attack that lasted.
That's true. That is very true. Okay, never mind.
I'm not saying it's bad, like in terms of its quality, but space is anxiety inducing. I love the Alien game. I'm not completely. I like Race for the Galaxy, but you have to win me over for me to like something that's in the space.
How about Romans, Liz? Do Romans have to win you over?
No. Also, like, put a dragon on it, I'm in. Like,
right. Yeah, that's why I always tell people if I'm saying this game's really good and it's space, then you should think it's really, really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you put Lord of the Rings on it, I'm probably pretty much sold, and it could be crap. So it's I'm biased, very biased. So when I tell you Space Empires is good, Jason, take it to the bank.
Fine. I'll come over. You live in Canada. Actually, you live in what?
No,
I think
I live in Kentucky.
In Kentucky right now.
Just outside of Cincinnati.
Got it. When I'm on my way to visit Liz, I'll stop by.
All right.
When I get all of my vacation from my job. The last one I'm going to talk about over here, and it goes along with what Kevin was saying, but this was an even deeper drop. A similar-ish game in terms of like a family-ish way co-op. Flashpoint Fire Rescue was the opposite rocket for within the top 100. It lost 34 points and is down to 91. It's funny that like it's supported Action Phase Games, which is now like whatever that big company, and they just released that event deck, which I think fixes the game. Tragic Events, which is really, really good.
Oh, it has really improved that game. Yeah. I like Flashpoint a lot. I will never play without Tragic Events again.
Me too. I will never play without them.
However, it is dipping, and they don't really support it. A lot of the expansions are out of print. You can't get them, like Second Story or the plane one or whatever. You can't get. Thank God I have them. You can't really get them, but like they have. So they print the base game and the event deck. Like, why bother? Just like either just go whole hog or just let it. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's funny.
I had falling for us.
Yeah, I had all of Flashpoint, and I just thought it's just there are other games that just do that kind of thing better, and I was able to trade all of it for some, I don't remember what. Right. If it had events, I'd probably keep it. But I mean, I probably traded that 4 years ago. I mean, the last time they had an expansion. I mean, I had the Deep Waters one, the submarine. And I mean, it's like, there was no reason to keep it. So
every reason for me to keep it. I love that game.
I love it too.
It's great. Especially
I'm pro Flashpoint.
Absolutely. All right, I think we're good with that. Unless a couple others leap up, we can go to 75 to 51.
Yeah, the only one I'd say too. I love Burgle Brothers. I wish that got more push. I mean, it's such a simple game. Right now,
there it is.
Yeah, I mean
that's another one though that I prefer co-op over solo.
See, I like that one both ways because I'll play it with others, but I also will play that alone just to work out. You can play characters that you wouldn't normally play or that are more difficult. And then just, I love the strategy in it. I love that game.
Burgle Brothers 2 was supposed to deliver at some point during the pandemic, but like everything got delayed. Looking forward to getting Burgle Brothers 2 to the table. I definitely back that one. Huge fan. Good one on you to point that one out. I love Burgle Brothers. All right, so 75 to 51, a couple of debuts, nothing pure, very few pure debuts. Games that were released in 2020, which is what I mean by a pure debut. So because there just wasn't a lot of games released. It's, what are you going to do? That's why Kevin had released the list early. Usually he waits till the end of the year, but he's like, you know what? I'm getting this over with and going on vacation. So in case you're wondering why it was this early, not a lot of debuts.
Christmas came early.
But there were some notable risers over here. And I think that the Discord over at One Stop Co-op Shop is talking about Root.
Yeah, I mean, Root is in my top 3 solo games, I think, right now.
Wow.
And
man,
I will say, actually, I'm one who is playing the Better Bot Project, the kind of unofficial variants before they became official. And in some ways, I still prefer that. I know one thing is that unfortunately Leader Games messed up the IRI and they don't really function as printed, and they are like providing stickers that you can put on your boards to make them work. So they somewhat messed up the Better Bot Project in making it like an official printed version. But yeah, Root is I mean, again, this is one where you have to like kind of enjoy running an AI. So me liking, something like Pax Pamir or coin games, it makes sense that Root would be up there for me. But I just think it is so friggin' fun to take one random faction, throw in 3 other random factions, and just try to sink or swim, like with all of them doing crazy stuff all around me. Like it is such a fun solo experience. Actually, I like it way better than co-op. I think co-op is a mess because they didn't put any energy into it. Like literally, Peter and I talked about this on the podcast episode for it. It's like a paragraph. They're like, by the way, you can play co-op.
Yeah.
There
work
you go.
Together, guys. A faction that's supposed to be working against each other. Just work together.
Like it's so like they didn't really explain the rules. They didn't give any suggestions. They didn't give any balance like rules. But solo is beautiful. So yeah, I fully recommend Root. Even if you just print out I don't know if you can still get the better bot stuff now that they have official stuff. Like maybe they took it down. I didn't look, but the Better Bot Project has all these extra factions. It has all the expansion factions that they haven't done Automa for yet, like implemented. Like it's unbelievable the work that they've done. That one guy, his name escapes me, but amazing like solo variant design work by him. So really cool stuff.
Liz, I know you did a preview, I think, for this one, but Orchid Orchard, how do you pronounce that?
Orchard. A 9-card solitaire game. That's so cute. What a cute little game. It's only got 18 cards and you play each game with only 9. So basically you're set up for the next game after you finish the first one. And you just layer matching fruit trees and try to get, enough of them layered on top of each other that you get a high score on your dice. And if you put non-matching fruit on top, then you have to have a rotten fruit token that makes you lose points. It's so simple. It's fast. It's cute. It's easy. I think my preview video for it was like 10 minutes long because it really just didn't take any longer than that to fully explain and play the entire game. And I think that that's very charming. There's a place in my life for that. I play a lot of heavy games. Sometimes I like something just chill. And Orchard is one of my favorite. It's not my absolute top kind of micro game, but I really like it.
Actually, we missed this one, or I missed this one. Under Falling Skies, which is another 9-card game. These games are why people love this list. Like, I mean, you can go to the top 25 and just like shop and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think when you want to go to a top 100, top 200, you want those hidden gems. Again, gems that you just wouldn't get anywhere else. And I think games like Under Falling Skies, which is another 9-card game, and Orchard are emblematic of the type of game that people want, like hidden gem type things.
That one won't be hidden anymore, right? Because now is it Czech Games doing an official release in like the next month or so?
Yep.
But it'll be unhidden for like a month, and then it'll go back to.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's how the market is these days.
Well, maybe that's how they discovered it, right?
Yeah.
They saw it on the list.
Do you, Kevin, do you think it's accurate to say that Side Room Games that did Orchard, that did Black Sonata, that did, what was the one from earlier, 75 to 100?
I think they did McKee, right?
Yeah, McKee. Like
Liz
they might be the smallest publisher with the most games in the top 200, right?
We're trading freezing, so now Liz is frozen. She has a very stern look on her face. So I keep on wanting to respond to her.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. I mean, it's neat when you see someone take these small games and make them really popular.
Yeah, and they seem to have a really good, like, I don't know, lock or target on the solo community and like just getting like light, cheap games that people will enjoy. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I look at we're not there, but when you look at the top 20, the top 50, there's a lot of bigger, deeper, thinkier games. But then there are some that are just, the rules fit on one card or something or one page. And there's just a lot to them. And to me, that's a really good design. That says something. Here's a question I got for you guys. I wish Liz was here. Maybe she could answer. I have never yet heard anybody say they love Tapestry, and here it is at 52.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, Tapestry, what are you doing here? I know literally zero people, and I talked to a lot. I talked to a lot of people.
If you look at my notes for this game, I have a list of mystifying games in this section. And Tapestry is right there.
All I can think of is just Stonemaier and there's a fan base that will vote on for it. Because I mean, I look at that solitaire games on your table lists a lot, and I follow a lot of that, and you never see it there. And when you do, we kind of encourage people to put, like positive thumbs up and thumbs down every time you list a game. Even if I list Mage Knight, I will list thumbs up and thumbs down. And the Tapestry, it's like thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, but I like this game. And I'm like, what? And
I mean, I will say this for Tapestry, the solo was better than the solo in Pendulum, which
Yeah, right. Oh wow.
I was not as negative on the solo in Pendulum as a lot of reviewers. Like I found some pretty good things in it, and I think the multiplayer is fun. But man, like that was a mess. Tapestry looks a lot better solo than Pendulum.
But we are talking. Liz is back, by the way.
Yes.
With a nice frozen face for a while. If you watch the video, you'll see her face frozen in a nice, like a teacher looming over a cheating student type face.
Liz, we're trying to figure out who. I've never heard anybody praise Tapestry, but here it is at 52. Mm-hmm. Never. Zero.
And 51, but actually it wasn't 51. But it is a 51 is a good game. Let's go to 51. Obsession.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh, did we already talk about Hoplo? Did I miss that?
No, we did. We were waiting for you.
Around.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So Obsession, what a nice guy. I love that game.
Should I get this? Because it looks like really cool. Should I get this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Obsession.
Wait, is that the same as Upstairs, Downstairs, or is that a different game entirely?
It's the expansion to Obsession.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you think, Kev? What do you think about Obsession?
Oh, I love it. I think it's, and this is the kind of game I shouldn't like, because it's basically a Euro. I mean, there's a lot of thought to it. It plays fast. It's a very unique theme, which, we're desperately in need of these days. I love that it's just one guy producing it. And he's really supportive.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, he's producing videos. And it's just, everything about it is just excellent. And what surprises me is it's this high, and the people who backed the new version might have just gotten it like within the last month. So I'm not sure that a lot of people have had it. I think it'll go higher.
Yeah.
They watched our video. Liz, they watched our video and they all voted for it off of our video.
As they should. No, Obsession is so good. The love for the period and just the depth of Obsession, of interest in all the details. Like I feel like it's a game that is fun, and also I learn a lot, and it really is immersive. And of course, you have to act like you're a snobby.
Even while playing solo, Liz, do you just like make a hoity-toity voice as you're playing?
Yeah, I just channel my inner Maggie Smith. Is how this works.
What I'll say here, I think, just zooming the lens out a little bit. This is a paradigmatic solo game. It isn't just good. Like looking at what solo gamers like, kind of like what weight, what length, what style. It is a perfect weight, like kind of like in that 2930 range. It is like puzzly card play. It is thematic. I think of the top 100 solo, something like 60 rank as thematic, which is a huge number compared to like 32 of the BGG top 100. Please do better, BGG crap. Come on, that's terrible.
That's Euros.
But exactly. So in solo players want thematic, puzzly mid-weight games with a lot of theme and cards, and I think and like not just like thematic, but like layered in like that. And I think Obsession, even if the time period itself isn't a draw, just the fact that it's so layered in and so well realized, I think that if you're gonna recommend like, okay, give me a good solo game that's past like the gateway stuff, you're gonna give them Obsession. I think so.
Yeah. Man, if you were my little babies doing the games I just really love. I love Baseball Highlights.
Yes.
I love that game so
Wait, Kevin, you don't like Baseball Highlights?
You never showed it to me, Liz.
Welcome to is my number one solo rolling right.
Hold on a sec. Kevin has something to say about baseball.
No,
let's go back to baseball first.
Highlights is I didn't see where the strategy was.
I'm not arguing that with you. We didn't say if it's a strategic game. We said if it's a great solo game. Yeah, it's a fun tactical game. And
where are the tactics? You flip
on the cards, you goof.
Not really.
Wait, no, Kevin, you know that just to push back for a second, the enemy's team doesn't change, and you play them over a whole bunch of games in a row. So you deck build specifically to counter what they get randomly at the beginning of the game. So there's a lot of tactics there.
He's not buying it. He's not buying it.
All right, well,
he's not buying
You
it.
don't have to. No one's perfect. So.
Yeah, no one's perfect.
Yeah. Part of my complaint with it is if I'm looking at my cards, and let's say you and I have played it a lot, and you and I both have the exact same hand, there's a good chance we're going to play the exact same cards in the same order, because there's usually a clear, optimal way you think you're going to play that hand. At least that's what I found.
I actually find it more painful than that, because you have to think about, like, okay, do I want to concentrate on offense or defense? Am I just going to go for it? Am I going to hope for the best? Like, I think there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, but I think you could, honest to God, turn the hand upside down, shuffle it, and throw a card out each time, and you have almost the same.
I strongly disagree.
You know what, Kevin, though? Even if you're right.
You must really suck at this game.
No! Maybe we get the punchier Liz gets. You'll learn that, Kev.
Even if you're right, the tension of wondering if I'm playing the right card and if I should save that for later, even if it is completely random, and I don't think it is, but even if it is completely random, it is still a wonderful experience every time I play it.
No, and I agree with that. And I think if you like baseball, it helps too.
Sure.
And it's just
I am curious about the football
version.
one. Is
the football one is not nearly as good.
Well,
no, I mean, it's fun.
Definitely
it's okay.
Yeah, like it's fun.
I gave the baseball one to my son-in-law because he loves baseball, and I think it's a really good two-player game.
Yes.
Way better two-player game.
Okay.
But not solo. Sorry.
You mentioned before, Liz, welcome to also Ganshon Clever, representing the Rolling Rights.
I don't like Ganshon Clever. I
love Ganshon Clever.
I love.
I've played a zillion games, like a zillion.
See, I think actually Ganshon Clever is one of the games that maybe the app ruined for me even more. Because I like my games a little more thematic. It's too mathy for me already, and then playing it a whole bunch of times in a row just really. Like I went through like a phase, like a couple days where I was really into it. I played it a lot, and then I was like, "Ew, I'm done. I'm done," and I'm still done.
I can still play it. No
go
question.
ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say 2 games on here have been replaced by newer games for me. So pretty much all roll-in rights, like Welcome to and Ganshon Clever, that I don't find very thematic. Pinball 4Cade. I still haven't played it a ton, so I don't want to like show my hand too much. But so far, the combo of a lot of like tactics and interesting choices and really thematic, like feels like you're playing pinball play. I think it's going to be hard for any other like solo roll-in right to beat that for me. And then
I'm an Alexis Solo Mode loyalist, but that pinball game is good so far.
It's really fun. And like the fact that each of the 4 tables is so different. I don't get that with any of those, like, like when I change, I love cartographers, but when I flip from like one side to the other and there's like some holes in the middle of the map, that's not the same feeling as changing a pinball table and everything is different, Right. And then the other one for me.
I was going to say, I don't play any rolling rights. So I was going to say, if I wanted to play one, so this pinball one's the one you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really thematic, and you're literally moving your pinball around the board. So like it just feels like you're playing pinball. It's really cool how they did it.
And it's really well reviewed. It will probably be on the list next year.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Like it is selling out immediately everywhere right now. So I think it's hitting well.
Liz,
and then
that Rome one, the Rome rolling right, or
you know what? I have not. I would like to. But
that one looks like a lot heavier.
I don't know. I don't have any money, and so I would figure out
pull your weight, Liz. I throw your weight around as a Dice Tower review.
That's right. That's right. They owe you a copy.
You know what?
Just wait. Michael will give it to you. He'll just,
That's true. I mean, Liz, I can send you like 5 games I'm trying to call right now to send you a big box of them.
Sure. I'll take it.
There you go.
But yeah, the other one, now this one I know I like a lot less than the average solo player, so I'm sorry. But Coffee Roaster I found very boring and repetitive, like incredibly repetitive for me. And Warp's Edge, that's just like delivering, 100 times better. Like if I want a solo bag builder, I am never in a million years going to pick Coffee Roaster over Warp's Edge. Like Warp's Edge is so So much better for me.
Coffee Roaster is fun, but I completely agree. Warp's Edge is a lot better. It is a far superior game. It is a wonderful advance in the world of bag building and solo bag building. And yes, really like
Coffee
Warp's
Roaster
Edge.
is here because of a reprint. So this won the reprint award for highest, and there were a few, and I could have noted them, but I think Coffee Roaster was the highest that I noticed. And maybe there's, I'm not kind of like a Nemo's War type. So Nemo's War is kind of, you know it's higher. I'm not spoiling anything. But for this year, Coffee Roaster, you get a reprint. It is an old game. This game came out a bunch of years ago. So it's kind of a re-debut. So it's kind of, and they didn't change anything. So I can imagine a lot of innovation and, kind of improvement going along the way.
Well, that's what Obsession is. I mean, it's also a reprint that got it up.
Although nobody had received that yet. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. But the second edition is better in terms of presentation is better. Some stuff laid out is better. The upstairs, downstairs really added a lot. So I think that we are good on that one. So this is, so we are running a little bit long in the record. Hold on a sec. Wait.
Weren't we going to talk about Hoplomachus there, Liz?
Oh, wait.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Let's end on that one. Let's end on a happy, let's make Liz happy for Hoplomachus.
Wait, I got to shout out Hostage Negotiator, great. Cloudspire,
Fantastic.
great.
I absolutely love
Liz,
Hostage
go ahead.
Negotiator. It's so good.
I love Cloudspire, too. I was really surprised with that one.
Yeah, Cloudspire, I really enjoy solo. Probably more than any other game mode. Well, maybe competitive, but I like solo more than co-op for sure.
I bought Cloudspire because I love chip theory stuff. I just bought it, said, okay, I trust them, and it turned out to be fantastic. But anyways, go ahead, Liz.
The upfront cost of learning Cloudspire is high, but then once you know it's so good. I love Hoplomachus. I'm very excited because there is going to be a new redone from the ground up Hoplomachus coming out next year, and could I love it more than I love original Hoplomachus? I don't know.
Solo campaign, Liz, you're going to. I predicted.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I adore Hoplo. It's just such a fun game. It's like a little gladiator fighting game, and you get the Lost Cities, and you get kind of a basic solo AI that's really solid. Then you get Rise of Rome, and you play against the Titans, and they're just vicious, and they're really fun. And then if you play Origins, it's a smaller version. I don't like Origins as much because it's actually the same thing that I don't like about Cloudspire, which is that you get locked into these, you have to do things in order, and you can't just pick up and play. But I really enjoy Hoplo. I will admit that there's not enough distinction among the powers of the different factions, and I can see how you wouldn't feel like you have enough variability among fighters, but it's just such a fun game. I love it.
Yeah, I in the past I've ripped companies like the Thunderstone ones that keep putting out a new version, and I'm done. I will never buy it again, but I'll buy this new version of Hoplo. I mean, I'm sold.
all over this.
Yeah.
Honestly, other than the game to pick a game, which was just not going to happen for me.
I have two of those. You want one?
No.
I must have won one in a contest. All of a sudden, it showed up on my doorstep.
But other than that, I trust chip theory for everything. So.
Oh, really? I didn't like, what's their lock-picking one?
Oh, Trip Lock. I actually really like Trip Lock, but I think I'm the only one. I love a good memory game.
Too.
Yeah, I found the solo for that very blah.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy patterns and manipulation and memorizing where things are, so that was going to work for me. And I feel I don't know, the ideas of Trip Lock, I like the way that they emerge in something like Too Many Bones with the lockpicking game.
Sure.
It's you can see their thought process throughout different games, and I think that's cool.
Will Too Many Bones appear on the top 50? Yes.
It's better.
I was going to say that's not the one to leave them in suspense over.
What will be on the top 50? We will definitely tune in next week. Kevin will be continuing to dribble out the list. Do not make him angry, or else he'll release one every 2 days. But we are going to conclude this episode. Thank you so much. So Liz, Mike, Kevin, thank you so much for joining for this second episode. We are going to get to number 3 real soon.